After tasting the wine, I have found it was tainted with arsenic acid. Acid? Or simply arsenic. It is almost completely odorless and tasteless. So there really was poison in that wine. If my lord had taken a tiny sip. My heart skipped a beat as I remembered my dream. How? How did something so dangerous get in the wine? It seems that it was injected through the cork of the wine bottle with a syringe. A syringe? You mean that one I found in the garbage? I almost said garage. Garbage. Precisely. Didn't you notice the hole when you prepared the wine? I must apologize. I didn't expect the cork very well. I only checked to see if the wax seal was still in place. Oh, I am deeply ashamed of this oversight. There is usually a hole in the wax seal of a cork to allow for airflow. I'm sure that no one would be able to tell the difference between an airflow hole and one made by a syringe. Do you have any idea of when the bottle could have been poisoned? I believe it could have been directly after the seance, when I took the bottle out of the wine cellar. I left the bottle alone for a short time to fetch your glass, so it must have been while I was out of the room. Do you know who could have done this? Unfortunately, no. I didn't see anyone doing anything suspicious. I'm terribly sorry I can't be of more help. I see. Shall I call the police? We need their expertise. No, we're not going to do that. If we make this public, there's no saying what kind of rumors will follow. Not only about the poison, but about the seance as well. I'm certain that the town gossips will spread lies about this being my father's will or some such nonsense. However, I cannot allow the Rockford family's name to be dragged through the mud, unless it will lead to the capture of this criminal. Hold on, let me mute this. I kind of need the notifications on, but I can probably mute it as long as I got a full-on eyesight on the phone. Alright. I just have to check it occasionally. Unless it will lead to the capture of this criminal. I have heard that the police have a difficult time investigating poisoning anyways. Understood. I shall endeavor to find out as much as I can. Thank you. Maurice gave a deep bow and left the room. Mr. Irving watched Mr. Maurice close the door behind him with a suspicious glare. Maybe he feels as if he cannot trust Mr. Maurice because he lied about the taste testing. I completely understand, but what should I do? I don't think the butler really had anything to do with it, so we'll go It's been a while since I played, so I don't exactly remember what happened, but we'll go ahead and go with the choice we previously picked. I hope the culprit gets caught soon. If there is anything that I can do, please ask. Thank you. Speaking of which, I haven't thanked you yet. I'm grateful that you stopped me drinking that wine. If I had, Lord knows what would have happened. Don't trouble yourself. I'm just glad that you are alright. I'm glad someone around here is happy to see me still breathing. Of course I am. Someone? Does that mean the others wish him gone? I mean, someone did just try to poison him. There is no doubt in my mind that there is someone close that doesn't pray for his safety, but is actively working to end his life? I don't want him to die. No matter who wants him dead, I will protect Mr. Irving. I kept secret my determination, locking it in my heart. But I had no idea. I could never have imagined the horrifying whirlpool of murderous intent that surrounded my lord. To be continued. Chapter 2. The Haunted Lord. I had a dream again after the poisoning attempt was made. Mr. Irving, the light gone from his eyes. Is he dead? No, it can't be. Why is this happening again? You really are going to sleep forever. Enough already. Oh my. Suddenly the blanket was torn off and I jumped up. In front of me was Louisa, a cold look on her face. Where's Mr. Irving? What? You must still be asleep. Gosh. It was a dream. But to dream of death again. Is this like a vision? If so... Anyway, I've woken you up now. Get ready and come to the hall. Oh, yes, thanks. I don't want you to come back later and say that I didn't wake you. That's all. Well, there's only 10 minutes left to start work. That's on you. You've been in bed this whole time. It's not my fault, right? What? We only have 10 minutes again? Yeah, I'm sure Miss Noel will be mad if you run like yesterday. You deserve it. Don't be so mean. Are you still mad about that Virgin Mary statue? That was your mistake. Shut up! I'm gonna go now. Oh, I must hurry too. I got dressed, then tied my hair. Oh my, am I gonna make it? Another morning rush to get ready. I should go to the same place as yesterday, right? Oh shit, I don't remember. I'm assuming the hall. Ow! Oh yeah, no, okay, we went to the right one. Ellie, you almost didn't make it again. When I arrived at the hall, Miss Noel was eyeing me in disbelief. Louisa was standing off to the side, smirking. I'm sorry, So why are you late today? Don't tell me. You slept in. Had another strange dream. She is right. But that's not going to be a good excuse. Oh, there you are. Mr. Marie suddenly appeared and beckoned me. Ellie, come with me. My lord is calling you. Mr. Irving is? Yes. Noel, I'm going to borrow her. Understood. The lord is calling? What's going on? And so, with Miss Noel and Louisa watching on, Mr. Maurice and I made off to Mr. Irving's room. Excuse me, my lord. I brought Ellie with me. Begging your pardon, my lord. How can I help? I'm about to hear Maurice's report on last night's incident, but I thought I should have you listen in as well. You helped me last night, and above all, I know you have much to offer in the way of insight. Oh my, I'm honored. Then allow me to report what I learned from my investigation into this wine poisoning incident. As I stated last night, the poison was probably mixed in when I retrieved the wine from the cellar after the seance. The cellar is normally locked after all, and my lord and I are the only ones with the key. Moreover, it would have been impossible to know which wine my lord was going to drink in advance. There are so many varieties of wine in this place. Were you the one who decided which to drink, Mr. Irving? Yes. After the seance, I asked Maurice to bring me this one. So, if the culprit was able to mix in the poison, it must have been after I had taken out the bottle and gone to the dining room to look for a glass and such. I see. Where did you put the bottle? In the storage next to the kitchen. The room itself isn't protected under lock and key, unlike the wine cellar or the shelves for storing silver tableware, which do. Storage? Anyone who wants to enter the storage could easily do so. And nobody would be able to see them either, so as long as the door was closed. So I checked around to see who, if anyone, could have mixed in the poison. But it seems nobody has an actual alibi, I believe it is called. No one has an alibi. Yes, it seems that everyone was doing their own separate thing. separate thing. Except Mrs. Grace and Miss Layla, though, who told me that they were together in their room. It's not that I doubt them, but their testimony doesn't seem very credible. Indeed, even if something happens, they may very well just try to vouch for each other. So this means it's possible for everyone in this manner to have committed the crime. What do you think, Ellie? Well, for the time being, we should think so. I hope I can do a little more investigating. Check everyone's belongings, for instance. Then we need to explain the situation to everyone. Does that not sit well with you, my lord? It doesn't, no. We must be careful with our words, so as not to invite rumors. Well, if Mr. Irving says so, there's nothing I can do. There is no guarantee that we can find the culprit even if we check everyone's belongings. We shall conduct rigorous testing for poison when we prepare meals from now on, my lord. I'll make sure that things like last night never happen again. Very well. Now then, we shall return to our duties. Ellie, help me prepare the breakfast. Understood. I need to do my work well. That dream is making me worried. I was told to prepare breakfast, so I must go to the kitchen, obviously. Ellie, could you take the tea to the dining room? Yes, of course. When I went to the dining room, Mrs. Grace, Miss Layla, and Mr. William were talking. I forgot what voices I try to use for these guys. That seance was something else. I can't imagine how shocking that was to Irving. Quite right. But was Oliver's spirit really cold? You think that medium is a fake? I'm not saying that. Her mother was a very big help to us long ago, after all. However, those words, abominable demons and whatnot, they simply do not strike me as something Oliver would say. Because Oliver had a nice personality, didn't he? Indeed he was. But it's been a while since, no? To me, that stern message sounded just like father. Our dear brother did become more and more like him. I see. Well, I hadn't seen Oliver for nearly 10 years by the end, so I can't say anything. Not much the same. The funeral here the other day was my first time home in a good long while. Is that so? So the predecessor was estranged from not just Mr. Irving, but his own brother and sister as well. I was listening to their conversation while serving tea. The biggest question is the inheritance. We could only read the letter halfway, but he did say he doesn't want Irving to inherit this place, right? If that's his will, then Irving is... Don't worry, Layla. That piece of paper won't be recognized as a will. It's Irving who's going to inherit the manor and the rest of the Rackrierford's fortune. Mother, yes, I believe so. Irving will marry me and work to make the family flourish even more. It's impossible that he won't inherit the fortune. Believing something is all well and good. Whether it actually happens is a different story. At that time, Mr. Ewan came in from the dining room door. Ewan. Looks like you guys are having fun. What are y'all talking about? Nothing. What? You only talk to your relatives? I'm a guest too, you know. A guest too. You know nothing about your social position. I hate to talk to you. I even hate to sit down at the same table. Huh? I'm hated already? I haven't even done anything, though. That vulgar way of speaking, how you eat like a stray dog? There are plenty of reasons to hate you. I see. If you say so, then, I'll say that I'm sick of your pretentious way of speaking and eating. But so what? Excuse me? You know nothing about manners. You really don't know where you stand. Who do you think you're talking to? Things are getting kind of tense. What should I do? Yeah, just stay out of it. This is between them. The last thing we need is for them to all turn on us. So we'll watch silently, like before. For the time being, I can only watch silently. There's nothing I can do. Not only that, but this kind of gives us a chance to get more of a feel of how they treat each other. I watched on with bated breath, and then... What's going on? It's so noisy. Mr. Irving entered the dining room. Irving, listen! This guy is being so rude to us. What? Look who's talking. I was just trying to make conversation. You're the one going on about knowing my place. I understand the general situation. Please calm down. Mr. Irving took a breath and turned to everyone. I'm telling you as the head of the household. You guests are not to be rude to each other, regardless of who you are. As long as you stay in this manner, I don't want you to make people around you uncomfortable. Can I trust that you will all comply? Okay, if you say so, Irving. Okay, as you wish. I don't want to get kicked out. Everyone calm down. Mr. Irving sure is impressive. No wonder it is so lively. You were all together. Miss Mahi had entered the dining room, her usual smile on her face. I still can't tell what she is thinking of. But now that she's here, everyone's present. I should bring the breakfast. I guess we go back to the kitchen and then to the dining room again. As I entered the kitchen, I heard Louisa talking loudly. And then, Lady Layla caught you and a stray dog. I swear, it was like things were about to get physical. Ah, that's how you should start the morning. So who won? They seem to enjoy talking about it, even if they are exaggerating a little. Look, all of you, less talk, more work. Are you gonna keep the Lord and the guest waiting? Yes, ma'am. I'll take these. If you're low on staff, I can help carry the dishes. No, that's not necessary. You're still an apprentice, so stay away from the guest. Sorry. I think it's alright. We're short-staffed anyways. We can't just have anyone serve the guest. Assigning the task to an untrained servant would be a disgrace to the guest, wouldn't it? Is that so? There used to be more servants here in the old days. One time we let a lot of people go. After that, there were wars and the like, and the predecessor didn't fill out the ranks. So we're still low on numbers. I see. By the way, are these all the servants we have here? Yes, this is it. We do have other servants who don't live here, like the gardeners. That means that I've met everyone in the manor. I didn't notice anyone acting weird. The culprit who poisoned Mr. Irving's wine and the culprit who wrote that message on the wallpaper must be present in this place, though. Ellie, take these soups too. I've just finished taste testing them for poison. Understood. You certainly are being thorough with your testing today. Yes, things cannot go wrong again. Yeah, we can't let our guard down. Poison could very well find its way into other things too. I mean, with Mr. Maurice's testing, we should be fine. But still, I need to be on the lookout. Regarding last night's interrupted seance, I've decided not to continue with it tonight. Mr. Irving's announcement came after breakfast. I'm still considering our options going forward. I hope to come to a decision as soon as possible, but... I see. Understood. To be honest, I feel relieved for not doing it tonight. However, I do have work to do, so please decide quickly. I don't mind anything. Irving, don't rush. Think carefully and decide. I'll be waiting for you either way. Oh, thank you. I wonder what will happen to the seance. In the end, it still relates to the matter of the will, so things should be considered carefully, yes? Miss Mahi is suspicious in various ways, after all. Plus, there was that attempted poisoning, too. Incidentally, I'm free as a bird today. Ah, I know. Why don't we all go hunting? Hunting? There is a hunting ground behind the mansion. Pheasants, and other birds are bred just for the occasion. Oh, how nostalgic. Used to go hunting with Father. I miss those days. Speaking of which, there was a walnut tree there. Irving, do you remember that we went to get walnuts when we were young? Of course. We used that tree to mark where the ground was itself. Wow. So there's even a place to hunt here. Nobles are amazing. So, what do you say? I think it would really help strengthen our relationship. Unlike the past, there are no hounds now, so it may be a little difficult though. You have to search for and get the prey yourself. Well, no objections here. It's been a while, and I'm itching to test my skills. I can't hunt, so I'll accompany my mother. I'm sorry, but I can't kill. Is that so? Well, I won't force you. What about you? Me? I've never hunted before. I'll teach you, so why not try? I think such experience is hard to come by. Well then, it seems like a good way to pass the time. Alright, you'll be joining too, right, Irving? Yes. I'm the host, so of course I will. Mr. Irving will go hunting too. Will he be alright? If that dream I saw really was a vision-like one, maybe something happened while hunting. I'll have our staff get things ready for the hunt. They should be done by noon, so please wait until then. With those words, Mr. Irving left the dining room. What should I do? Yeah, we'll go warn him, as before. I have to say something. I don't know if he would believe my dream, but at least I should tell him to be careful. With that thought, I went after Mr. Irving. Mr. Irving, may I talk to you? You want to talk? Sure. Mr. Irving stopped and looked back at me. It seems that you'll be hunting today. Please be careful. Oh, of course. There's always danger in hunting. No, not that. Someone may come after your life again. Ah, yes. That was just what happened last night. For example, what if the participants start shooting at you? Is that not a possibility in itself? I don't think so, no. At least not during the hunt. For one thing, I'll be out of their range. Out of range? Does that mean anyone will act separately? Yeah, when we, as a family, hunt together, we always take charge of separate areas. So I think that's how we'll do it this time as well. As long as they stay in their areas, it'll be difficult to shoot me. They're all pretty far apart. I see. But couldn't someone just sneak closer to a location within range? It's not impossible, but the hunting ground is in the woods, so I think it'll be hard to find me. By the way, if you're curious, I did make it to the next death scene. I've gotten that far. So I'm just gonna pick the same choices I picked before. Anyways, it's been a while since I played this. I'll be on my guard though. Do please be careful. You see, my lord, I actually had a dream. A dream? A dream that you were killed. Actually, I sometimes have these vision-like dreams. That's why I knew someone was trying to poison you last night. Vision-like. I know it's hard to believe. In any case, please be careful. Alright. He still seems to be on the fence about it all. I guess it's not something you can just believe right off the bat. Speaking of which, my lord, I will be checking for any suspicious activity around the manor on my end too. You will you? Yes, I promise to do everything I can. You did. You really are like a detective. Am I? I don't think it's such a big thing. Still, if anyone can get to the bottom of this, it's you. Your logic behind the poison wine incident was superb. If I were to read detective novels myself, would I be able to reason like that? Who knows? But if you are interested, please do try to pick some up. There are so many interesting stories. And that's right. Maybe I should. What do you recommend? My recommendation? Well, let me think. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes may be a good choice as your first book. It's a collection of short stories, and all are good. What are you talking about, Irving? Miss Layla came in between us as if to interrupt. Oh, it's nothing. If a maid can hear about it, then so can I. I haven't had a proper conversation with you since I arrived at this place. Is that so? I'm sorry. That's fine. Instead, could you spend a lot of time with me today? All right, I have something I want to show you, Irving. Something to show me? Well, something I want you to listen to, more like. I'm going to prepare, so look forward to it. Will you come to the Therese in an hour or so? Terrace? Therese? Sure. I stood in silence. It was like I didn't exist. Can't find a good time to speak, obviously. What should I do? It's awkward being here, but I shouldn't leave without permission. Ellie, what are you doing? At that moment, Miss Noel passed by. If you're free, clean the guest rooms. Yes, right away. With that, I breathed a sigh of relief and excused myself. Clean the guest rooms. Maybe this is my chance to investigate the guest. Ah, yes, I remember. I should probably mark down whose room is which. Again, I know I had that marked down somewhere, but I didn't. Oh, and we can go here before maybe they get there. When I looked out at the place, there was no one there. Mr. Irving and Miss Layla are supposed to be meeting here, but perhaps it's still early. Alright, fine. Let's see, the blue room. Let me rewrite all this stuff down. Let's find out who the blue room belongs to. As I entered the blue room, I saw Miss Mahi relaxing inside. Okay. She has the blue room. Well now, is something the matter? I'm here to clean the room. Go ahead, don't worry about me. Yes, excuse me. What's wrong? I'd like to ask you a few questions. Sure. I don't mind. What is it? Miss Mahi sure is friendly, all things considered. She was a little creepy at the seance, though. What should I ask about? I think we get both options, so it doesn't really matter. The seance. I'd like to ask you about the seance last night. Was there really a spirit there? Yes, Mr. Oliver was there. I see. Honestly, I'm not convinced, but no matter what I ask, she's just going to give the same answer as last night. What should I ask about? Her past? I've heard you've been here once a long time ago. But what was the reason? It wasn't for a seance, right? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you without permission. I see. Pardon me for asking. Mr. Irving didn't tell me why either when I asked last night, so I guess I better not pry. Is there anything else? No, thank you very much. With that, I promptly cleaned the room and left. Alright, to the red room we go. Ah, Mr. Ewan. The red room is Ewan. This is Mr. Ewan's room. There is no one here. Should I look around the room as well as clean? If I remember something, there's something in the wardrobe. Inside was the bag that Mr. Ewan brought with him. What should I do? We'll look inside. I know it's not good, but I may find something about him. Just a little. Looking inside, I found a wallet, clothes, daily necessities, and the like. Nothing to be concerned about, really. Just things that any commoner would carry. His everyday life may be as simple as ours. Ooh, maybe I should have saved that for last. Okay. Is there something inside? I checked the drawers, but there was nothing inside. There is a pendant by the pillow. Not now. Is there something inside? I checked the drawers, but there was nothing inside. Alright, the bed. Investigate. This pendant. It's more like a locket. Who is this person? Inside there was a picture of a thin, middle-aged woman. I think she looks like Mr. Ewan. Is this his mother? I checked everything here. This locket was the only thing that got my attention. I think this is important. What are you doing there? Looking back, Mr. Ewan was standing behind me. How did that happen? How long was he watching me for? Why are you holding my pendant? Trying to steal it or something? It's only cheap, you know. I don't steal. Then what? You just thought you'd snoop around my room, huh? You sure are nosy. What, did your master tell you to check on me or something? He didn't, no. Something piqued my interest. That's all. It was all me. What are you so interested in? Tell me. Well, what should I do? I mean, it's all out in the open now. Maybe I should just ask. This girl got no survival skills. Who is in the locket? Who is the person in the picture? My mother. I knew it. She does look like you, Mr. Ewan. Yeah. She was beautiful then. She was nothing but skin and bones at the time of her death. So she's already passed away. Suddenly, Mr. Ewan stared at me. What's wrong? Oh, it's just... My mother was a maid like you. She worked for a baron and his family. Baron? Your mother too? Really? There was an epidemic going around at the time. He got her master, so she had to take care of him. But then she got infected herself. She collapsed to the floor one day and eventually the disease claimed her life. The baron's family was horrible. As soon as she collapsed, they fired her and kicked her out. Huh? But she only collapsed because of the... For a noble, a maid is either useful or not. That's all they care about. No matter how loyal you are, when you become useless, they're done with you. I wonder if this is one of the reasons why Mr. Ewan hates Miss Layla and the others. Because of how nobles treated him and his family. You be careful too. What? No matter how hard you work for the master, you won't get rewarded. Is he saying that out of concern for me? Because of how I try to do too much for Mr. Irving? Maybe Mr. Ewan is right. I mean, no. Mr. Irving would never be so heartless. But still, effort doesn't necessarily guarantee a reward. But I still think that I want to do everything I can to protect Mr. Irving's life. What should I ask about now? Why did you get called to the place? I'd like to ask why you were called to the manor, Mr. Ewan. Did you really mean what you said to Mr. Irving last night? When I said him and I are actually brothers? I'm pretty serious. Think about it. Everyone at the seance, they were all family, except for that medium. Doesn't make sense for me to be the odd one out, right? Maybe we're not brothers, but we could be related, no? That's true. But it didn't seem like anyone knew who Mr. Ewan was. Would relatives act like that to each other? Anything else you want to ask? No, this is enough. Thank you for sharing those things with me. Don't mention it. You can make it up to me by just answering properly when I ask you something. Well, okay, I will. If I can. Alright, it's a promise. I wonder what he'll ask me. I'm a little worried. Though still slightly anxious at the thought, I left Mr. Ewan's room. I'll go back to the green. Where should I go now? Okay, it won't let me go to the red room anymore. To the green room it is. I'm pretty sure this is Mr. Williams' room. There was nobody there. I better start cleaning, I suppose. Huh? What is going on, William? Explain. At that time, Mr. William and Mrs. Grace came into the room together. Well, I just need a little money. Like I said, one of my transactions fell through. So you want to borrow money from me, even though you just bought yourself a shiny new car? Before I knew just how bad the transaction had gone, yes. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, but I can't. I have some financial matters I'm attending to myself. I know. I'm really sorry. I must ask you not to go to Irving. He is going to marry Layla. I don't want to make my child have a hard time. In the first place, that marriage is... what? No, putting Layla herself aside, you're very enthusiastic about this marriage, aren't you? Why wouldn't I be? It's only natural to want to fulfill her wishes. She's my darling daughter. My only daughter. Of course, marriage must have a future, but this union would truly strengthen both the Rackfjords and my own family, so there's no problem. We'll be rock solid. Make the family rock solid? Well, that's what I thought. Mr. William and Mrs. Grace are both dealing with issues of their own. I don't really know the details. Besides, is it even okay for me to listen to their stories here? Anyway, oh. She looked at me as if noticing me for the first time. What is going on? How long have you been here? Since the beginning? You stood there quietly. The whole time. You really are clueless. Get out of here. Yes, ma'am. I'm truly sorry. She's really cross with me. Guess I shouldn't have listened in after all. I bowed deeply and left Mr. Williams' room. When I opened the door, Louisa was standing there. Huh? Why are you here, Louisa? Quiet! Louisa covered my mouth and dragged me off to the side. We're okay here. I was kind of freaking out there for a minute. Louisa, what are you doing there? Nothing. I was just eavesdropping. Interesting conversation Mr. William was having, eh? Eavesdropping? It sounds like they're having quite a difficult time. Things could really blow up, don't you think? Are you having fun, Louisa? Does it matter if I am? It's a perfect way to fight off this boredom. Louisa gave me one final glare, then left. Boredom, huh? I wonder if everyone starts craving excitement like that after working here so long. Anyway, I didn't really understand all that of what Mr. William and Miss Grace were talking about. Did Louisa? I'll ask her the next time I see her. And off to the white room. This is Mrs. Grace and Miss Layla's room. I guess there's no one here. Huh? Oh, you are here. At that time, Miss Layla entered the room. Yes, I was about to clean. Should I leave? I'm going to practice my violin, but you can stay if you don't bother me. Violin? You play? Yes. ever since I was a child. I'm pretty good. At least I am now. Irving told me otherwise a long time ago, though. Mr. Irving told you that you weren't good. Irving was mean when he was a child, but back then... Oh, what's wrong? Well, he told me that he'd marry me if I could master Concerto No. 4, Winter from the Four Seasons. So I practiced very hard, and now I'm good at it. Once Irving listens to this song, we'll be officially engaged. Huh? After listening to a song? Officially engaged? Uh, you said you were his fiancé last night. Are you saying that was... It's as good as an engagement, right? We made a promise. How as if he can play the piece well? Plus, it was just a childhood promise. Girl, that ain't any of your business. That's none of your business. I wonder if Mr. Irving thinks that he is engaged with Miss Louisa. Miss Louisa? Isn't it Miss Layla? Or is that her last name? I don't have time to chat. I need to practice now. Well, I still have time. Irving and I have a meeting arrangement. Miss Layla took out the violin and placed a bow on it. Oh! At that moment, one of the violin strings broke. No, it's not time for this. I need to restring this. She fetched a bag from her wardrobe and began to rummage through it. Huh? What is this? Is something wrong? The string is missing. I had an extra string here inside this pouch. I better save. I remember. Okay. We'll save over this one. The paper bag that Miss Layla showed me was indeed empty. Where did it go? I know. You stole it. I stole the string. Me? No, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. But there wasn't anyone else here until I came along. It was just you, alone. If you didn't steal it, then explain why it's missing. Why do I need to explain that? What should I do? I can save again. Obviously, we have to investigate the situation or else we're gonna get blamed for it. Just to see what happens, obviously we're gonna plead the innocence. I didn't steal the string. I'm telling the truth. Then why is it gone? You were the only one here, right? Oh, this isn't leading anywhere. What should I do? Even if I say I didn't steal it, she won't believe me. First, let me just check the situation. Maybe I'll learn something. May I see the pouch, please? Sure. Da 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 da. I mean, obviously, there's a big freaking fingerprint right there. I inspected the paper pouch closely. What I'm most interested in is... the seal. The pouch's seal has been broken. When was the seal broken? It wasn't open last night when I checked before bed. I haven't checked since then, though. So did the culprit open it when stealing the string? Okay, so it wasn't open last night, so it had to have been sometime between the kitchen and stuff. The pouch itself. The pouch is covered in whitish powder. What is this powder? Oh, it's face powder. I spilled it inside the bag this morning. I didn't know it got all over the pouch, too. When you say this morning, exactly when was it? Well, after going for a walk with my mother before I went to breakfast. Okay, after going for a walk and before I went to breakfast. Before breakfast. I see. Okay, now we get the fingerprint. a fingerprint. Something that looked like a fingerprint had been left on the pouch flap. Miss Leda, did you touch the pouch here? No, I didn't. Then that means that someone touched the flap after breaking the pouch seal, and the face powder was spilled immediately after that, I guess. That don't... She said she spilled it in the morning. She was in her bag. And before breakfast, after the walk. So, it had to have been... Okay, before breakfast. It had to have been sometime that she was having breakfast. I've read about fingerprint collection in a novel before. When you touch things, oil from your fingers... Okay. When you touch things, oil from your fingers remain in the form of a fingerprint, and you can collect those prints by applying fine powder. This fingerprint may have remained here in the same way. Okay. I think I understand the situation pretty well. Maybe I can prove that I didn't do anything. Miss Layla, I'm not the culprit here. It would have been impossible for me to steal the string. Impossible? What do you mean? Where's the time when the string was stolen was? Oh girl, I don't know. I'm not sure if I said it in this playthrough or in a different... all the different ones I went through. No, because I think I ran through this thing about 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I ran through it about 3 or 4 times. I got to the second death. The string was stolen is when Miss Layla... Okay. It could have been during the walk, or it definitely wasn't going out. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, because the way it was explained is that the fingerprint could remain even though... So it had to have been during the walk, if I remember correctly. The string was stolen this morning while you were going for a walk. When I was going for a walk? It was stolen that early. Yes. You seem to suspect me because I was here by myself the whole time before you came, but if the string was stolen before that, would that convince you of my innocence? How do you know that it was stolen while I was out on my walk? Prove it. Well, the evidence is right here on the pouch. Okay, bottom part, no. It's either the opening or the face powder. I mean, either one would work. Oh, I can lose a rose. Let's go with opening. There's some powder on the pouch flap where the seal was broken, right? That means the seal was already broken before the powder was even spilled. What? No. That's why you think it was stolen during my walk? Yes, you say you spilled the face powder after your walk. Okay. And the string was still in the pouch last night before bed. If the culprit was aiming for your absence, then the string was stolen during the walk. I see. I think so too. Are you convinced that I'm not the culprit? Yes, I believe you. You should thank me. Thank you very much. I wonder who stole it. I can't play like this. May I borrow the pouch that had the string in? I'm gonna look for the culprit. You're going to look for the culprit? Well, sure. I won't get my hopes up, though. Still, let me know if you find out anything. Yes, excuse me. I left Miss Layla's room holding the pouch. Okay, I think that's like... I think that's the first time that I've actually done that without making her get suspicious of me. Alright, I saved it over this one. We can go... I forgot what we were supposed to do. Do we go back to the kitchen or to the terrace? We'll go... Terrace? When I looked out at the place, there was no one there. It's still too early. Alright, so the kitchen is the only place we have to go. When I went to the kitchen, I heard something get knocked over. What are you doing? We'll never get things ready in time at this rate. I'm sorry. You can't see well with that long fringe, surely. You should cut it. Yes, you're right. I told you so before, right? Why haven't you cut it? Seems to be a pretty tense situation. I should... can I ask you something, Louisa? I quickly called out before she could fly into a rage. Ellie? What? Oh, right. Did you hear what Mr. William was talking about before? Something about Deb? Well, yeah. Do you want to know? Yeah? Can you tell me? What should I do? If I remember correctly, we beg and she's like, no, and then we ask others, and then she's like, okay, I'll tell you. I think. Could be wrong. Don't remember. I see. Then I'll ask other people. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? If you're gonna ask someone, ask me. Well, okay. What should I ask about? Okay. Grace, I don't think is too suspicious. William, on the other hand. But, you know what? I think we get an option to ask for both anyways. Mr. William is a trader in London. That's probably the reason for the debt he was talking about before, I guess. A trader? Really? But coming from such a rich family, I figured money would never be an issue. You don't know anything. Mr. William is the second son, right? That means he has no stake in the family estate. Usually the eldest son takes over everything. I see. Even a son can walk away with nothing. Right? When the previous predecessor, Mr. William's father, passed away, he didn't get even £1. Wow. Not even a pound. Mr. William will not inherit anything unless the head of the house dies. Does that mean if Mr. Irving dies, then Mr. William can inherit the property? In terms of order of inheritance, then yes, on paper. But this time there is that mysterious will, so I don't know what will happen. Does that mean Mr. William has a motive for killing Mr. Irving? Obviously. What should I ask about now? Speaking of which, Mrs. Grace refused to lend money to Mr. William because she needs it for herself. Ah, right. For her husband's political activities. Political activities? Is Mrs. Grace's husband a politician or something? Yep, the eldest son of a baron's family. Took the title and recently became a member of the House of Lords. I heard he used to be a diplomat and traveled abroad. He must be an admirable person. I guess. Miss Grace needs the power of the Rockford family to support her husband. Although she is a member of the family, I guess things just work out better if Miss Layla marries the Lord. This marriage is to truly strengthen the family as well as her own. She said, rock solid. She said. That's why Mrs. Grace is pushing this. I wonder what Mr. Irving thinks about the marriage. It's not here either. What should we do? At the time, Mr. Jack came into the kitchen complaining. What's wrong? Well, the pheasant I was thinking of preparing is gone from the pantry. The pheasant? Yeah, I wonder if a rat got to it. I don't think a rat can eat something that big. Actually, how big is one? I'm acting like I know my birds. I was thinking about making it the main dish for lunch. I'm really counting on the spoils from the hunt now. Let's pray to God that we get some. A stolen pheasant. Miss Layla missing violin string. What's going on? I guess we go back here. When I went to the entrance of the terrace, I saw Mr. Irving and Miss Layla standing before the rose garden. Oh, that's right. They made plans to meet each other over there. What should I do? I mean, she's getting herself into stuff, so we might as well just eavesdrop anyways. What are they talking about? I really want to know. I cut my ear against the glass doors, and their voices floated through the gap. I'm sorry, Irving. I wanted you to listen to my violin, but I don't think I can now. One of the strings is broken. Ah, you wanted me to hear you play. That's why you called me here. You looked down after what happened last night, so I wanted to cheer you up. So that's why. Thank you, Layla. Your feelings are enough. No, it's not only that. I wanted to fulfill our promise today. Promise? You promised that when I mastered this song, we would get married. When did I make that promise? When we were 10 years old. You don't remember? At all. I didn't know you were one of those people who made promises that they had no intention of keeping. I'm sorry. You can hate me if you'd like. I wouldn't blame you if you did. I see. Goodbye. Miss Layla muttered those words quietly in a voice so different from her usual light, breathy tone. She turned away from Mr. Irving and left the garden from another exit. What should I do? Girl, leave that man alone. We'll go talk to him. Maybe I should talk to him. I opened the glass door and walked over to Mr. Irving. Ellie? I'm sorry, but I overheard you two talking. And I know I'm being impertinent by saying so, but I don't think that you are at fault. People often forget things that they had said or done in their childhood all the time. Thank you. But I do feel that I have treated Layla badly. I don't think my words were of much comfort to him. I bowed and swiftly left the garden. Ellie, have you seen Mr. Maurice? As I crossed the hall, Miss Noelle called out to me. No, I haven't seen him since breakfast. I see. Can you go find him? If you see him, tell him that we're almost done with the preparations for the hunt. Understood. Let's go find Mr. Maurice. Where is he? Like I would know where that man is. He's not in the just from the hall, so probably in the Lord's room. I spotted Mr. Maurice right away. He was walking towards me. Where could it be? Mr. Maurice? Miss Noelle was looking for you. Noelle was? Yes. She said the preparations for the hunt are nearly complete. Oh, I see. I'll go down now. Perhaps I can look for the rifle later. A rifle? For the hunt? No, it's not for today. To tell you the truth, a hunting rifle has gone missing from the predecessor's room, so I've been looking for it. The predecessor's rifle? Was it taken by someone? Okay, so the bird, the string, and a gun. Most likely a trap. The predecessor's rifle. Was it taken by someone? Yes, I believe so. A box of bullets is missing as well, but the room was locked up tight. I have no idea who could have stolen it. Obviously, it'd have to be someone with a key to the room. Or someone who could break in and then relock it. All the rifles that will be used today were cleaned and prepared in advance. There is no reason for someone to take it out of its case. It hasn't been cleaned in a long time. That's true, so why? This is the third incident of theft we've had today. There was the violin string, then the whole bird, and now a rifle. What is going on? Something sinister seemed to be brewing in the shadows, and it made me feel quite anxious. When I went to the garden after Mr. Maurice, there were many tables lined up. Wow, this looks amazing. It's like we're going to have a party. Ellie? Yeah, everyone is going to have lunch here after the hunt. Mr. Jack is cooking up a real storm. He'll roast whatever they'll kill. During the hunt and serve it up as a main dish. That's lavish, but that's what's expected from nobles. I strolled around taking everything in. Then my leg hit something. Huh? Don't kick it! Louisa came running up to me, shouting, I'm sorry. Is this a box? I looked down and saw that indeed it was a small black box. It had been placed near the edge of the picnic blanket, alongside the gun cases and other hunting items. It's a lottery box. It's so his lordship and his guests can decide which ground to go by chance. I see. Did you put the tickets in already? Yep. Each one either has north, east, south, or west on it. At least you haven't broken my box. I made it after all, so be careful with it. Okay, I'm really sorry. As I looked around again, I saw Mr. William and Mr. Ewan in the corner of the garden. So I just used this rifle. Oh yes, you hold it like... Oh, you already know. Perfect. You can practice by yourself for a while. The only two who were missing from the party were Mr. Irving and Miss Layla. Mr. Irving suddenly appeared in the doorway, with Miss Grace following closely behind. Only you, Aunt. Yes, Layla is not coming. I see. Miss Grace looked a little scary. Maybe she is upset with something. Oh, it must have something to do with Miss Layla, probably. Now that everyone is here, let's draw lots. Is this the lottery box? Mr. Williams seemed to ignore Mrs. Grace's grumpy demeanor and called out to the rest of the hunting party. Ladies first, dear sister. Draw one. South. I'm also assuming this is going to be important, so... Grace is south. Go ahead. I don't know this place at all, so it really doesn't matter much, but it says west. Ewan is west. Now I'll draw. North. Now Irving. I already know. There's no need to draw. It'll be east. True. Let's begin. Are we ready? After 2 hours, you will hear the sound of a gong. That is the signal to return here. With that, the participants took hold of their rifles and went into the woods. Will everything really be all right? As I watched Mr. Irving's retreating figure, I unconsciously clenched my hand to my chest in worry. Mrs. Grace seemed angry with Mr. Irving. I'll stop here before it gets to the good point.